This happened to me this morning when I got to work, and I have no idea whatsoever how it happened. I arrived at work at 7:40 a.m. and sat in my car for nearly 10 minutes before gathering my lunch and exiting my car to head into work and clock in. My fellow office mates, 8 of us in total, tend to arrive after me 2 or 3 minutes before we begin our day at 8 a.m. But today was different. When I exited my car and headed for the office, none of my office mates had arrived yet. My coworkers, who work in shipping and receiving, had been at work since 7:30 a.m. I walked through the lobby, punched in the security code to access the warehouse, and headed for our break area to clock in on the biometric palm scanner. The device gave me an affirmative message and displayed the time I clocked in, 7:56 a.m. Great. I opened the refrigerator door and placed my lunch toward the back of the top shelf before heading to the one and only stairwell to my office. And this is where the glitch happened. I walked up the flight of steps, and to my shock, all of my coworkers were already at their workstations. I asked, completely startled, "When did you all get here?" They looked at me, confused. Claire, our marketing manager, said, "We've been here for an hour. We're about to head to the boss's office for the production meeting. Where have you been?" Still shocked, I said, "Where have I been? It's only about 3 minutes before 8. I gestured toward my workstation as I checked my phone. The time on my lock screen said 8:58 a.m. Somehow, I lost an hour of my time walking up the stairwell to my office. Does anybody have an explanation for how this could have happened? My father was a very friendly person. He had tons of friends. It was hard to keep a record of who he spoke to. He also traveled a lot due to his work. He was also very strong and had no severe health issues. However, when I was 10, he died. It was sudden. We informed as many people as we could. One day, a few years ago, an old colleague of my father ran into my mom. They spoke, and he said, "Hey, I saw your husband a few weeks ago." But it had already been 2 years since my father had died. My mom tried to tell him this, and he was perplexed. He said that they had had a long conversation and ended up having coffee together. It happened again, this time with one of my mom's old students in his late 20s. My mom used to tutor him in math and English. My dad used to give him snacks after he studied and play with him. And when he saw my mom, he told her that he had seen my father about a month ago and that they had spoken for a really long time. But my father had been dead for almost 3 years at the time. This actually happened quite a few other times, but it hasn't happened again in several years. This happened yesterday, and it still makes me uncomfortable. I was at the train station on my way back from work when I saw this couple. What drew my attention was the fact that they were speaking my native language, so I looked at them. The woman was built and looked exactly like me, and I don't have a very common appearance for the country I live in. But she looked about a decade older. And the man was an aged carbon copy of my current boyfriend. But what really set my creepy radar off was the following. She had this tattoo, one that I always wanted to get, exactly where I wanted to get it. And it's a very personal design only my best friend knows about. It's not like it's a common tattoo. He was speaking my native language with a very distinctive accent of his home country, which is similar but not the same as the way people from the country that we live in speak my language. So, I looked at them when they were facing the other way, extremely creeped out. It was at that point that the woman turned around and saw me. She froze instantly, as if she had seen a ghost. Then I finally managed to look away, and I hurried toward the exit. I really feel like I'm going insane here. It was as if she, or I, remembered that exact moment and knew exactly when and where to look for me. I haven't told anyone because I don't want people to think that I'm nuts. A week and a half ago, one of my best friends died. We had been friends ever since we were 11. The entire year before, he kept making eerie statements saying that he was gonna die. Every day just seemed to get harder for him. Well, it's been 20 years since we met, and I'm not sure if you remember old Greg. When we were in middle school 15 years ago, we were the first kids to see it. Shit was fucking hilarious. It became a massive inside joke between us and the whole school. It was a very significant inside joke. Flash forward, we're 28 years old. Coronavirus was in full swing. Everyone was going crazy from the lockdown. My wife dreaded her hair, poorly, and tried to dye it green. The whole thing didn't go so well, and we all had good humor about it and had a lot of fun. My buddy started making these hilarious old Greg references about her hair, and of course, the inside joke was raging between us again this whole last year. He, unfortunately, didn't wake up last week. He was a partier and he wanted to die young. I was a wreck for a few days. Then, we piled into the car and drove to his viewing. Seeing your best friend dead has a way of messing with your head. We hadn't been gone for 15 minutes from the viewing. I was crying, just reminiscing on all of our old memories. I looked up from my phone and my contacts are kind of foggy, and I see the license plate in front of us. The license plate says, Old Greg. And I felt like it was him trying to comfort me. Or like he was trying to tell me that stupid fucking joke again. At this point, we're tailgating the car in front of us, and they start getting mad and swerving, which just reminded me more of my friend, and because he was such an asshole. It might be a stupid coincidence. I'm not religious. But I took a picture of the license plate, and it blew a lot of people away who knew him. I live with my family, and we recently moved to a neighborhood in the middle of a forest with dirt roads that wind around two small lakes. My mom had been taking long walks in the neighborhood, but there was one thing that baffled her. Near a split in the roads is a dead end sign. My mom had been down that way many times and said that there didn't seem to be a dead end. It just keeps going, she said. There's a house that looks like it should be the end, but when you turn the corner, you see that the road goes around it. Then, when you pass that, the forest opens up and you end up with a beautiful clear view of the lake. A few days ago, I decided to take a walk with her. After we crossed a small bridge, my mom started commenting about how she'd never noticed certain mailboxes or houses before. It wasn't long after that when we hit the dead end at the large house. Did we take a wrong turn? She asked. Where's the lake? She looked pretty disturbed as we walked back home after we saw that there was no other way that we could have gone. Part of me wants to believe that she had a vivid dream and got confused, but the first time I heard her talk about the long path was right after she'd gotten home from her walk that day. I have no idea what will happen the next time that we go down there.